evening, wherever you are, and welcome to Global Atheist News Roundup, dateline the 23rd of October 2023. This is a midweek update due to the increased number of religion-related items that are happening in our world. Here are the headlines. Palestinians were under attack as Israeli settler violence surges in the West Bank. A 16-year-old Iranian girl in a coma after assault by morality police. Police say hate crimes in London see a big jump. Pro-Palestinian protests take place in London, Birmingham, Cardiff, Belfast and Salford. A London tube driver leads a chant of Free Palestine over the tannoy. Comedian Omid Djalili's show was cancelled because of personal threats over the Israel situation. A Muslim New York University student, formerly an ADL employee, admits to ripping down posters of Israeli hostages. Ukraine's parliament backs a ban on a Russian-linked church in an initial vote. And a Czech village priest is sorry for smashing the pumpkins. Palestinian residents of the West Bank say that while the world's attention is drawn to the unfolding disaster in Gaza, Israeli settlers are taking advantage by entering villages and expelling or even killing Palestinian civilians. In at least 3 cases, according to video footage or eyewitness testimony from villagers, the settlers have been wearing military uniforms or have been accompanied by the Israeli military in their attacks. The first 3 men who died in Qusra had gone to defend a family in a house on the outskirts of the village after settlers approached the house and began throwing rocks at it. They say the settlers opened fire, killing the 3 young men: Hassan Abu Surur, 16, Abeda Abu Surur, 17, and Muzab Abu Reda, 25, and gravely wounding several others, including Moath Odeh, aged 21, who was killed later in clashes with soldiers. Among the wounded were a father and his 6-year-old daughter who lived in the house. They were shot in the face and in the abdomen, respectively, according to 2 people who received the dead and wounded at a nearby medical clinic. One of those assisting at the clinic was Amr Odeh, a cousin of the 2 victims. It fell to Amr to call Saeed Odeh the father of the 17-year-old Abeda. "I told him your son is lightly injured," Amr said in an interview alongside Saeed in Qusra on Tuesday. "I could not give him this shock over the phone." Saeed rushed to the medical center. "They told me that my son was injured, but there was no way for me to see him at that moment," he recalled, his eyes shiny with tears. "I told them I wanted to see my son now, and I entered that room and saw that by the grace of God, he had been martyred." On October the 1st, 2023, Amita Garavand, a 16-year-old Iranian girl, was in a coma after a reported altercation with hijab enforcement officers in a Tehran subway station. See this video.
On October 1st, 2023, Amita Garavand, a 16-year-old Iranian girl, found herself in a coma after a reported altercation with hijab enforcement officials in a Tehran subway station. She was subsequently admitted to Fajr Air Force Hospital with significant head trauma. Official narratives assert she lost consciousness due to a sudden decrease in blood pressure. However, witnesses and other sources counter this, suggesting she was physically assaulted for not wearing her headscarf. Limited CCTV footage made public captures Armita boarding a train without her hijab and then being aided by passengers. Still, not all video recordings from the incident have been disclosed. Adding to the complexity of the situation, Armita's mother, Shaheen Ahmadi, was detained near the hospital by security personnel on October 4th. Under duress, Shaheen was seemingly forced to publicly attribute her daughter's condition to a drop in blood pressure. The family received warnings to keep Shaheen's arrest quiet. This incident has magnified international scrutiny, emphasizing the rigorous enforcement of hijab mandates in Iran and intensifying concerns over potential human rights infringements.
There has been a significant increase in hate crimes in London, predominantly anti-Semitic incidents since the Hamas attacks on Israel, according to Scotland Yard, the police headquarters. Between the 1st and 18th of October, the Metropolitan Police Force recorded 218 anti-Semitic incidents, up from 15 across the same period last year. The number of Islamophobic incidents has risen to 101, up from 42 last year. The statistics were released on the eve of a major pro-Palestinian demonstration on Saturday in London. Ahead of that demonstration, the Metropolitan Police announced it had banned protesters from assembling outside the Israeli embassy and revealed that counter-terrorism officers would be monitoring for anyone supporting Hamas or Hezbollah, both of which are banned under the UK's terror laws. Speaking on Friday, Deputy Assistant Commissioner Ade Adelakan, the officer in charge of the policing operation, said the number of anti-Semitic and Islamophobic incidents had gone up by 1,353% and 140% respectively. So far, 21 people have been arrested in relation to suspected offences. The incidents reported were related to abuse in person and online, and with both religious and racial motivations. A 60-year-old man has pleaded guilty to religiously aggravated intentional harassment after threatening and abusing an Orthodox Jewish man in East London on Tuesday morning. On Wednesday, the man, Kevin Joseph, was fined £200 for the incident at a bakery in the Stamford Hill area. A penalty increased from £120 due to the seriousness of the anti-Semitic hate crime that he committed, the Crown Prosecution Service said. The Metropolitan Police has confirmed the details of other incidents. A man has been arrested on suspicion of defacing posters of missing Israelis in Camden, and another man has been arrested over 10 incidents of Islamophobic graffiti on bus stops in New Malden and Rains Park. Thousands of people have taken part in a pro-Palestinian protest in London for the second consecutive weekend. The Metropolitan Police estimated up to 100,000 people had joined the march, which ended in a rally near Downing Street. Smaller demonstrations also took place on Saturday in Birmingham, Belfast, Cardiff and Salford. The Metropolitan Police said that 1,000 officers were involved in policing the London event. A tube driver led a chant of Free Palestine over the tannoy in London. See this video.
Free Palestine. Hope you will have a better day today. Look out. And all those people in your friends. Have a good day.
Comic Omid Djalili has pulled out of a performance, with the venue citing personal threats due to the situation in Israel. The comedian was due to appear on Thursday at the Festival Drayton Centre in Market Drayton, Shropshire. The centre said it was reaching out to ticket holders and would issue refunds next week. Mr. Djalili's representatives have yet to respond to requests for more information. The comedian, who was born in London to Iranian parents, has appeared in films including Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again and Bond movie The World Is Not Enough, as well as the BBC TV series His Dark Materials. A New York University student admits ripping down Israeli hostage posters, according to the New York Post on October the 17th. One of the NYU students who brazenly ripped down posters of Israeli hostages is an activist extremely passionate about fighting racial profiling, who blamed her behavior on misplaced anger. Yasmin Dahimi, a junior at the top university, who once worked for the Anti-Defamation League, admitted to tearing apart banners that were plastered outside NYU's Tisch Hall in a shameless act that was caught on video. Dahimi came clean on her Instagram account after the action drew a social media outcry and calls for the school to hold the perpetrators accountable. I have found it increasingly difficult to know my place as a biracial brown woman, especially during these highly volatile times, she wrote. The pre-law student apologized for her actions, claiming she unequivocally stands against terrorism and hopes for the safe return of the Israeli hostages. In Kyiv, on October the 19th, the Ukrainian parliament gave initial approval to a law that would ban the minority Ukrainian Orthodox Church, UOC, after Kyiv accused it of collaborating with Russia following last year's invasion. The UOC has historic links with Moscow, but says it is no longer aligned with the Russian Orthodox Church. It denies Kyiv's accusations and says the draft law would be unconstitutional. Most Ukrainian Christians are members of the Orthodox Church of Ukraine, the OCU, which was formed by two churches independent of Moscow in 2018. The UOC flock in Ukraine has shrunk to 4% of the population from 18% before Russia's February 2022 invasion, according to polling by the Kyiv International Institute of Sociology. Yaroslav Zelezniak, a member of parliament, said on the Telegram messaging app that deputies had voted to support the bill in its first reading. It has to be backed by a second reading and approved by the president to go into force. The law would ban the activities of religious organizations affiliated with centers of influence in a state that carries out armed aggression against Ukraine, and such activities could be terminated by a court of law. Another lawmaker, Irina Herashchenko, said the vote was a step towards removing Moscow priests from the Ukrainian land. The head of Russia's Orthodox Church, Patriarch Kirill, appealed to Orthodox and other churches to do what they could to stop Ukraine's action before the bill becomes law. A Czech parish priest has apologized to local children after stomping on their Halloween pumpkins near his church. Father Jaromir Smeljkal destroyed the carved pumpkins on 2 successive days in a park in Kerdijov, a village in the winemaking region of South Moravia. He has apologized for the vandalism in an open letter to the mayor and published on the village Facebook page. He said he would have acted differently had he known they were carved by children. Leaving the rectory on Sunday evening, I saw numerous symbols of the satanic feast of Halloween placed in front of our sacred grounds, he wrote. I acted according to my faith and duty to be a father and protector of the children entrusted to me and removed these symbols, said Father Smeljka, parish priest at the Roman Catholic Church of St. John the Baptist. He added that, in his view, the modern tradition of Halloween had been conceived in a heathen contemporary world as a counterbalance to the Catholic feast of All Souls' Day. Breklavsky Denik newspaper, which first reported the story, said the local children had carved the pumpkins as part of Halloween festivities organised by the village. Some children are said to have been in tears when they were told their creations had been destroyed. New pumpkins were left in the park, but were found scattered and stomped on the next day, reported the paper. This has been Global Atheist News. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.